Hey guys, welcome to the Mourne Mountains, and we are up at a location called Pierce's Castle tonight, photographing the heather, or at least what's left of it. And we are just getting in to the really lovely golden light now. But the views up here are just absolutely amazing. So yeah, we've come up to Pierce's Castle, and it's been a very eventful afternoon. We've had some beautiful light early on, and we've had rain. We've had rain showers blowing across. We've had an amazing big rainbow coming down, and yeah, it's just been a really interesting day. Now, the purpose, as I say, of coming up here was to photograph the heather, because this place is notorious for it, and a little bit got it because I'm probably about a week too late. I think it's past its peak, and it's a little bit frustrating because down in the valleys it's so much better, but up here it's just, there's little pockets of it, but most of it is just pretty bland. So we were kind of chatting a little bit about the expectations, and it again took me almost an hour or more to kind of get out of my head the expectation of tonight's shoot, because I just was constantly running about looking for compositions with heather in them, and I was just getting extremely frustrated because there's just not enough heather. That's just plain and simple. So finally it's clicked with me to just scrap that idea and just treat it as a normal shoot and look for the patterns in the rocks, the stones. And once I started to do that, I've actually started to find better compositions. And actually, ironically, some of them have little pockets of heather in them. But yeah, so it's been a little bit frustrating in that sense. But we have quite a lot of clear sky over to the west, so we've had lovely dappled light throughout the day, and we have it at the minute, and it's really beautiful. So I'm going to talk you through this first composition I have at the minute. And I'm just shooting it as the light changes, and then I have another composition over there which is more about the rocks, not really including that much heather in it. But yeah, considering we had flooding and we had a storm here yesterday, conditions today are just so different. So just to talk you through the composition I have at the minute, the light here is just incredible. It's so beautiful. Lovely long shadows. Now what we have in the foreground is we have a lovely set of like 2 or 3 rocks, and they're leading the eye diagonally in. Now that is in the bottom right hand side of my frame. Then we also have a pathway, which is actually the path that we came up, and it's in the left hand side of the frame, and it's actually helping to kind of twist round and again lead the eye in further into the frame towards the peaks. And I really, all I have is 1/3 sky, probably not even a third sky, and this beautiful foreground. Now the light, because it's getting a little bit lower, is actually starting to pick up the heather just a little bit, so we're getting a little bit of colour, which is really nice. It really is a bonus. But the light just across the moorns is just incredible. Wow, this is really nice. And my settings are just f11, ISO 100 and 1/10 of a second. I'm not interested in doing any kind of long exposures here tonight. This is all just about the light and the mood. Now there was a composition that I found earlier just over that way, which I was heading back across the shoot, and then I've just come across this one here. So I've just stopped at it momentarily, and this is actually a little gem here because it's very simple. We've got a lovely foreground, and do you know, it's actually amazing the difference the light makes to your foreground, because now I'm seeing all these little bits of the colour from the heather popping up with the light, which I wasn't actually seeing earlier on when it was really flat lighting. But yeah, the composition, again, pretty simple. We've got this beautiful rock down in the left hand corner, so that's kind of down on my left hand third, and it's running at a diagonal towards the mountains, which is a perfect kind of lead in line. And we've only got about a third sky. There's some beautiful clouds that are blowing across here now, and again we've just got this lovely light. You can probably even see it on my face here, how nice it is now. It's just coming right across some lovely long shadows, and quite a lot of the peaks now are getting picked out. But yeah, this is actually really nice. ISO 100 f11 1/10 of a second. So what I need to be really careful about is there's a little section of the clouds on the left hand side that are just catching the light and could just blow them out really easily. So I've actually kept the grad on and just pulled it over at a slight angle just to really emphasize that side of the sky, and try and balance it out, because the detail in it is beautiful. So I really don't want to mess it up by blowing out the highlights. But the shadows here are just, the light in the shadows is just phenomenal. Really nice. This was the rock I was talking about down here in my foreground. Really simple, but it's just forcing the eye further on into the frame towards the peaks and towards Hen Mountain in the distance. I hope you can hear me. The wind has picked up quite a bit, but I've come across to this other location. You can kind of just see maybe behind me there somewhere. What we have is we've got a couple of really nice sets of rocks, and these are beautiful diagonal rocks in the foreground, which are going to help to lead the eye into the frame. And again, we've got some beautiful light. Don't know if you can even see behind me, right across all of the peaks away down there. And these are the rocks here that I was talking about down in my foreground. So the only thing I'm not overly keen on at the minute is the sky. There's quite a lot of blue sky on one side of the frame, which I think is kind of leaving it a little bit unbalanced. So the cloud is moving quite quickly, so it's moving across, and I'm just hoping that whenever I go back to look at the composition, that the dark moody clouds are going to fill the whole sky, because when it's kind of half and half, it just doesn't sit right. There's just something a little bit unbalanced about it. So I'm just waiting. Now, earlier on we had a rainbow over here in the right hand side of where we were shooting, and that's in my frame at the minute. So you just never know. There is rain blowing across and the sun is out, so I'm going to just watch this very closely. I don't want to predict anything, but if we got a rainbow in this, this would be even better than earlier, because the light is so much better now. So fingers crossed. Let's have a rainbow. Here we go. Come on. I have come back across. I've actually been a little bit indecisive with my compositions, because just over there it just wasn't working for me. Just really struggled. The foreground rocks just weren't what I had in my head earlier when I had kind of checked it out. So I've come back to this one here. This is just a much simpler, cleaner composition. Rock in the foreground, beautiful side lit heather, really gorgeous side lighting hitting the peaks, and a much more dramatic sky now. So even from when I was here earlier shooting it, the light has got an awful lot better. So like, we've still got probably a good hour before sunset, so there is a possibility that it might get even better. But even if it doesn't, what I've got so far, very happy with it. I guess this is the thing, it's like when you come with a preconceived idea of what you want, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And I thought tonight that it wasn't going to work out, but I'm really glad I've stuck with it. Could the Hiller be better? Absolutely. But you know what, it only means that it gives me a good excuse to come back again next year. But nonetheless, absolutely stunning.